State of the Queensland health system modelling suggests that under the new Queensland plan, you could see up to 1,200 cases a day. Jeanette Young, the Chief Health Officer, says 400 cases a day more realistic. That's a really big difference.
Yeah, well, the 1,200 is the worst case scenario. So, of course, you get modelling, you get the worst case scenario, then you have to sort of like average it out and look at, the Doherty modelling as well. So what she said is worst case scenario 1,200, around 400. But what we will see is if people are vaccinated, they will not end up in ICU. They will not end up in hospital. The unvaccinated will. And of course, if you're in that 60 bracket and over, you are at high risk. The higher the age, the more at risk you are. And I've got a large population out there of over 70s. Now, the good news there is around 80% of them are vaccinated. The target group that aren't vaccinated, it's really interesting, Kochie, in that it's actually the 20 to 39-year-old age group. So it's that younger cohort that we really need to drive the vaccination. And I think if they want to go and see friends and family in other states, this might be something that drives them to do that. So, and also too, people may actually say when it gets to the 17th of December, if you're not vaccinated, a business may say, or a music venue, you can't come in.
Premier,
because we will ease restrictions for those organisations.
Premier, can your hospital system cope with this? Because the AMA is saying they're concerned your hospital system is overstretched right now at 105% capacity. So when you open up, you're going to get more cases, aren't you?
Sure. Is the New South Wales hospital system coping? Is the Victorian hospital system coping? I think what you find is with COVID, there is always a surge on your hospital capacity. We have had 18 months to prepare. We have prepared as much as we possibly can. We have the ICU capacity. Dr. Young has been preparing for this for the last decade. That's how she has been studying pandemics, and she has been preparing Queensland for this. So our hospitals will cope with it, but we will know that there will be a surge, and it's no different to what is happening in New South Wales and no different to what's happening in Victoria.
When will you be opening to overseas visitors and residents? Will that be December 17 as well, with no quarantine?
No, there will still be quarantine. What we're saying is we're thinking that's the 90% threshold, but we'll be going back into National Cabinet. New South Wales jumped the gun. Surprise to everybody, because National Cabinet had decided that New South Wales would do a trial of 7 days home quarantine, not zero quarantine. So, that's pretty interesting that people could come into Sydney from Dubai, but they couldn't go to Dubbo. So, look, I'm just very concerned that they've jumped the gun. We're all supposed to be working together as part of the national plan and the National Cabinet. So, I'll be looking forward to the next meeting to see where we land with that. And of course, we will look at best practice and best evidence.
What about your quarantine facility that you announced that will be built, I think, in the middle of next year? Do you still need that?
I think regional quarantine facilities are going to be needed into the future. We can't predict what's going to happen, but there may be a country that's declared a red spot or a no-go zone area, and we may need to bring back people from those different countries, and they'll need to be chartered in. It's no different to what we saw, what we have seen during this pandemic. We'll also need it for unvaccinated people. We'll also need it for people who are international students who are looking at doing labour for our farmers. So I think there's a whole lot of opportunities as well.
Okay. Queensland good to go for Christmas and the summer holidays, and that's a great step forward.